Hello and welcome to the in-news series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Divedi, and in this segment today we are going to talk about the Mahadayi Project. This topic is important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GS Mains Paper 2 and 3. So let's begin with the topics of discussion that we are going to look at. First of all, we will talk about why in news. Then we will discuss the Mahadayi Project, the core of this entire segment. We will discuss the dispute related to it. We will also talk about the constitution and legal provisions which provide for the settlement of dispute when it comes to river water sharing. We will also talk about the other major river related disputes, and we will talk about the river interlinking project. We will also talk about the challenges related to river water sharing, and we will also talk about the way forward. And in the last of the segment, I am going to offer you a mains based question for answer writing practice. So let's begin with why in news. This topic has come into news because of the hearing of the special leave petition by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court saying that we need to form a committee in order to look at this entire dispute from a wider perspective. Now, Goa has alleged Karnataka that Karnataka has actually diverted the waters of the Mahadayi River. But Karnataka has said that in order to divert any water, we need to create a dam downstream and then also remove the underground wall. So this entire dispute has come into the picture, and that is why we need to talk about it. So if we talk about this project, first of all, we need to understand about the river Mahadayi. Mahadayi or Mahidi or even Mandovi as it is known in Goa. It's a west flowing river. Keep that in mind. West flowing, and it is a rain fed river. Alright. It originates in the Belgaum district, Devgarh village of Karnataka, and then it flows through the states of Karnataka, Goa and Maharashtra. And these are the three riparian states who are involved in the dispute when it comes to river water sharing of Mahadayi. So Mahadayi River is basically, if we talk about, is into the news since a long period of time now. Why? Because Karnataka wants to use or utilize the water of Mahadayi River, and in order for that, they have proposed a Kalasa Bhanduri River Water Project. Now, if we talk about this, we will get to it later. So because of this Kalasa Bhanduri Nala project, that is why the dispute has arisen. Why? We will discuss that. So if we talk about this project, what is this project basically? First, we need to understand the background of it. So if we talk about Karnataka, the Karnataka state government on August 22nd, 2000 gave its administrative approval to the project. Now, this involves building across Kalasa and Bhanduri, two tributaries of Mahadayi River, to divert 7.656 thousand million cubic of water to the Malaprabha River. Now, Malaprabha River supplies drinking water to three districts of Karnataka, that is Dharwad, Belagavi and Gadag. Now, if we talk about this project, as you can see in the picture, this is the Malaprabha River. And here is the tributary Kalasa, and here is Bhanduri. Now, what the Karnataka government wants to do is to build facilitators or dams across these rivers, these tributaries, in order to provide water or link the waters from Mandovi River or Mahadayi River to Malaprabha River. Now, because of the water scarcity in the Dharwad, Gadag and Belgaum districts of Karnataka, that is why this project is of utmost importance to Karnataka. But Goa has raised a dispute against it, and if we talk about it, then if we talk about the reason why it is used, we have already talked about it, that it involves building across the dams in order to provide water. And after that, what happened? In the year 1989, it was proposed, right? And in the year 2000, it was said that yes, the Karnataka government said that we shall go forward with the project. But the Goa state government, it disputed this project even if we talk about 1989, this project was disputed by Goa over the utilization of water, and in the year 2002, it asked the central government to form a tribunal in order to settle the dispute with respect to Mahadayi River. And in the year again, after that, in the year 2002, it asked the central government. After that, the Mahadayi Water Dispute Tribunal was formed, and this particular project, if we talk about the dispute resolution project, this was said to be in formation. And in the year 2006, after that, the Goa government went to the Supreme Court, and in the year 2010, finally this tribunal was formed. And after that, tribunal's award was also there. But if we talk about this particular issue, this was raised time and again by Goa by saying that the Karnataka government is not actually listening to the Supreme Court, and it is a contempt of the court. So if we talk about the tribunal's award, we will discuss that later. But you should also keep in mind that because of it being, this project being, this Kalasa Bhanduri project being a drinking water project, that is why it has got waiver from the environment impact assessment, right? And if we talk about environment impact assessment, this is basically the analysis of the on-ground report, what is actually going on in that area, so that this particular project, any project, does not adversely impact the environment. So that is why it got waiver, because it's a drinking water project. Now, if we talk about the tribunal's award, the tribunal said that the application to release 258 hectares of reserve forest area for the Kalasa project that falls under the reservoir's catchment area is pending. Now, if we talk about this issue, why Kalasa project as well as Bhanduri project, they have been stopped because large amount of forest need to be cleared in order to provide a proper way for the channelization or interlinking of water. So if we talk about that, it has yet to get proper settlement when it comes to the entire dispute resolution. Now, if we talk about the dispute, proper dispute, in July 2002, we have already talked about it, that the state of Goa made a request under Section 3 of the Interstate River Water Disputes Act of 1956 for constitution of the tribunal under the said act, and referred the matter for adjudication and decision of dispute relating to Mandhuve or Mahadayi River. And the assessment of available, this is the entire dispute, that the assessment needs to be done of available utilizable water resource in the basin at different points, and allocation of water to 3 basin states, that is Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka, keeping in view priority of the use of water within basin, as also to decide the machinery to implement the decision of the tribunal. And after that, the tribunal, we have discussed about the forest issue. August 2018, tribunal award had allocated 13.42 TMC water for the Mahadayi from the Mahadayi River Basin to Karnataka, and Maharashtra was allotted 1.33 TMC, while Goa was awarded 24 TMC in the final decision of the tribunal. Now, it is pretty interesting because if we talk about the length of the river in Karnataka, it's approximately 35 kilometers, and if we talk about Goa, it's 82 kilometers. Alright, so after that, the Karnataka government had petitioned the tribunal seeking the release of 7.56 TMC water for the Kalasa Bhanduri Nala project. Now, if we talk about the constitutional or legal provisions related to dispute settlement or river water sharing settlement, entry 7 of the state list has given provisions for water irrigation canals, dams and water storage, water power. And if we talk about entry 56 of the union list, it is said that now union list provides for the parliament to make certain laws on the river. If we see that why river water needs to be shared, it should be in such a manner that it is giving the utmost benefit to the public, to the citizens of India. And if we talk about entry 56 of the union list, it provides for that. And if we talk about the article 262 of the Indian Constitution, it has given a mechanism. The mechanism says that if the parliament sees it possible that this entire river water dispute will not be settled by negotiation, then they could form a river water dispute resolution tribunal. Alright. And if we talk about mechanism for interstate water dispute resolution of 1956, we will discuss that. The resolution of water dispute, it is governed by Interstate River Water Dispute Act of 1956. Now, you could be intrigued to know 1956 also coincides with the year when state reorganization happened. Proper state reorganization started to begin, and because of that only, because of the demarcation of new boundaries, that is the biggest reason for the river water sharing, a federal challenge that is. And the act was amended in 2002 to include the major recommendation of the Sarkaria Commission. Now it said that whenever a dispute would arise, there should be a settlement within 3 years. That is the maximum time frame. And within 1 year, a dispute resolution mechanism or a tribunal should be made. Also, if we talk about other major disputes over sharing of river water, you could see Ravi and Beas. They are disputed by the states of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Narmada, between Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Krishna, between Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, Mahadayi, here it is. Mahadayi has disputes between Goa, Maharashtra and Karnataka, Periyar between Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and so on. So, as you can see, not only Mahadayi, but there are so many river water sharing disputes that have arisen over the years. Now, if we talk about River Interlinking Project, River Interlinking Project or National River Water Linking Project, which is also famously known as National Perspective Plan. It envisages a model in order to provide an infrastructure so that the surplus water basins could provide water through a link to the deficit basins of the India. Now, if we talk about the western and the southern areas, these are generally water scarce. But if we talk about the eastern region of India, it is water surplus because it sees flash floods and floods on a regular basis. So we need to link them in order to balance out the availability of water pan-India, right? And then as of now, 6 interlinking river projects are there. The Ken Betwa, Daman Ganga Pinjal, Par Tapi Narmada, Manas Sankosh Tista Ganga, Mahanadi Godavari, Godavari Kaveri. They have been under examination of the authorities. And with regard to the peninsular rivers, the centre has chosen to focus on the Godavari Kaveri link than the earlier proposal to link the Mahanadi Godavari Krishna, Pennar and Kaveri rivers. And if we talk about the different issues and concerns related to such project, first is that it is a very expensive proposal. So much of infrastructure will need to be done. So much of infrastructure will definitely require, it will generate employment, that's for sure, but a huge investment must be done, which will be vulnerable to the changes in the climatic affairs. Now, it will also cause adverse impacts on wildlife, biodiversity, and it will also lead to the abandonment, or it will lead to the rehabilitation process, which cannot be seen as a very reasonable compensation for this, reasonable foregoing of this. So if we talk about the displacement, massive displacement will appear. It will happen, and the government is not ready as of yet to provide compensation or rehabilitate them. Then it will of course lead to destruction of forest, wetlands and local water bodies, and these are the groundwater recharge mechanisms. We cannot just not look at that, right? And there will also be a decrease in the amount of fresh water entering the seas, because water moving back from here and there, it will create that the fresh water will not go back into the seas, which will be a destruction to the marine life. So there are certain issues regarding them. If we talk about the challenges when it comes to settlement of the dispute, the first is extreme politicization. Yes, in order to gain short-term victories, many a times it happens that actual concerns are not seen, but the victory is capitalized upon the sentiment. regional sentiment. So that is first. Heterogeneity of needs. Now, how to balance out or how to prioritize needs of one state over the needs of the other state. That is the second challenge for an arbitrator. Also, there is a lack of trust and trust building mechanisms between different states who are actually the riparian states and parties to the dispute here. Karnataka, Goa and Maharashtra do not have a proper resolution mechanism amongst themselves. That is why the Supreme Court has said that we need to form a committee, and this will have members from all the riparian states, from Karnataka, Goa and Maharashtra, right? And if we talk about the way forward, the first way forward is we need to see a complete depoliticization and look at the actual concerns. There could be concerns which do need to be addressed, but not on political grounds. And confidence building. Now, this is a must. Every state who is involved in any such dispute need to be a part of the bigger committee which needs to resolve this dispute amongst themselves and not entangle the judiciary every time. And if we talk about that, how could be that? This could be done through coherent dialogue process which is continuous in nature, which is constructive in nature, and which is free of all political grounds. Also, the awards which are given by the tribunal as well as the Supreme Court, they must be respected. That is the utmost way forward right now. Alright, so if we move on to the question for today, look at this question. The interstate river water disputes are one of the most contiguous issues in the Indian federalism today. You have to discuss it. Also explain if it's time for a new mechanism rather than the tribunals. You have to write it in 250 words. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.